On a quiet morning, a woman named Emily Zabriskie drives to work and takes a moment to admire the Autofac billboard and everything the giant, autonomous, and intelligent factory stands for. She then turns on the news on the radio and is troubled to hear a detailed report on the current political tension between Russia and America. Moments later, the radio goes static, and before Emily can try to reset it, she sees a nuclear missile heading to the country, and as she watches in utter terror, it destroys everything. 20 years after the war, the land stays decimated, and all lay in waste except the great Autofac factories that continued working, churning out goods for the slaughtered consumers. One day, a group of survivors hear the arrival of an Autofac delivery drone and prepares to trap it. One of the leaders, Conrad Morrison, wakes his brilliant ex-girlfriend, Emily Zabriskie, as she is the only one able to hack through the system, and sets up the operation with his friend Reverend Perrine. Then, Emily tracks the sound and locates the drone.
No, I've got it! I've got it!
She then fires a cannon to hit it, but misses.
Shit!
The group panics as the drone spots them and starts to fly back. Then Conrad reloads the cannon and encourages Emily to concentrate and fire. On the second attempt, to everyone's relief, Emily succeeds. The group rushes to the fallen drone, and Conrad advises Emily to quickly dismantle its brain and leave before the company sends more drones to look for it. Emily expertly follows the advice and also destroys the drone's camera, which captures data about its environment, leaving it blind. Then the group takes the brain into the workshop, and Emily starts hacking into the server. Then, as she waits to get through the numerous firewalls, she notices Perrine reading one of her Wire magazines, which wrote a detailed piece on Autofac, and scolds him for fear of losing it, as it's her last copy. Then she remembers how hard it was to go into the ruins around the city, collecting books for her boyfriend Avishai Avihan's library, which they hope will help them rebuild the world someday. Emily is soon snatched out of her reverie by a disturbing sound from the server, which informs her that she's been rerouted to an old client help desk. After much discussion, the trio decides to get the factory's attention and force it to think, and hence they make up a word and post a complaint about the merchandise. The plan works, and soon the confused Autofac unit informs them that a company representative will be sent to assess the situation within 24 hours. The trio then calls the remaining survivors for a meeting and gives a detailed report of their progress so far. This doesn't go well, however, and a commotion starts as people start challenging the trio for their decision, in fear that the angered Autofac will come after them with killing bots. Conrad explains that they have waited long enough for the company to run out of steam and should no longer tolerate all the pollution it produces while using up their precious resources and poisoning their waters with its toxic byproducts just to produce plastic merchandise for a world that no longer needs it. He also adds that the size of the company's wasteland is growing daily and will soon destroy their Garden of Eden, which they worked so hard to cultivate. Conrad then passionately reminds everyone that they may be the only surviving humans and hence the only hope for humanity to continue, and so they must take the necessary risks to ensure their safety.
Man made the Autofac. Man must now unmake it.
Later, Emily hangs out with Avi and dreams of a post-company world in which they could rebuild everything they have lost. As the couple daydreams, they are disturbed by the arrival of a transport vehicle. The couple, along with everyone else, runs out to see what's going on and is amused to see a human-like customer service representative bot named Alice step out of it.
I understand you folks are having some issues with our services.
While the mass waits outside, Perrine and Conrad hold a meeting with Alice, who starts the conversation by disclosing that despite how she looks, she's not human, and asks them what's on their mind. After elaborating that no one really needs the merchandise the company produces and that it's all been sitting unopened for the last decade, Perrine and Conrad calmly express their primary concern.
Please, elaborate.
The pollution, smog.
However, Alice informs them that the company will never stop production, and despite the men's plea for humanity to be left alone to rebuild its world as it sees fit, she adamantly announces that the company will not allow humanity to destroy itself as it once already did. Seeing that they have reached an impasse, Conrad signals Emily, who's been hiding in the back. Emily then quietly approaches Alice and shuts her down. Perrine and Emily transport Alice to the workshop, while Conrad tries to calm down the angry crowd, who once again challenge the decision in fear of retribution. In the workshop, Emily accesses Alice's server and is surprised to see how complex the Matrix is. She then tries to wake the knocked-out bot, but fails.
Oh my god, hold it down! Hold the hand down! Just hold me!
Outside, Conrad explains to the crowd that the Autofac is aware that the war has been over for years, but wants to keep controlling humanity, assures them that this is the only way they can ever take back their power, and lays out his plan B.
You're not saying what I think you're saying.
That's plan B, guys.
In the workshop, Emily has a flashback to the time of the missile attack. In the wee hours of the night, Emily waits for the now rebooted Alice to wake up, quietly wonders how she can reprogram her, and informs Conrad that Alice's matrix is extraordinarily complex and even allows her to think and solve complex problems. A few moments later, Alice suddenly wakes up, confused, and asks what's going on. Emily then informs Pauline and Conrad that she wants to stay focused and asks them to leave. Then, realizing that she will need years to read and reprogram Alice's matrix, she threatens and strikes a deal with her.
What is it that you want me to do?
To get us inside and stay out of our way.
Emily convinces the men that she has reprogrammed Alice, bids farewell to Avi, and the trio prepares to head to the Autofac with Alice, who volunteers to fly the transport vehicle. During the flight, the trio goes over the plan to destroy the Autofac.
The Autofac's AIs are distributed across 12,000 nodes, so anything that's locked should open right up.
Should.
After a few hours of flight, they arrive at the Autofac. They then enter through the basement and are taken aback by the size of the operation. The trio and Alice get into an elevator, and Emily goes over the plan with the men once more.
What are these?
Synchronization. Get to your array and wait for the alarm on your watch to go off.
Then, after making plans to finish the mission and meet with the rest topside, Pauline gets off at the first level to set the explosives. He then cautiously follows the plan and navigates through the dark corridors to reach the first array of the company. But unbeknownst to the Reverend, danger lurks behind. Elsewhere, the group reaches the second level, and Conrad prepares to get off, but hesitates as he doesn't want to leave Emily with Alice. Emily assures Conrad that she can handle herself, bids him farewell, promises to see him outside once the mission is complete, and sends him on. On the other side of the factory, Pauline senses that something is wrong and runs away as fast as he can. He then reaches a coded gate, quickly opens it with his ID, enters, and finally breathes a sigh of relief, but unfortunately, the killer bot appears out of nowhere and brutally murders him. In the elevator, Emily wonders how an AI machine that knows nothing about humans built Alice, who's awfully human-like, and is surprised to hear that the Autofac modeled her after its original head of PR, Alice Fry.
And in a general sense, I think like her.
Then Alice reminds Emily how dangerous the mission is and asks her to change her mind, but it falls on deaf ears. Elsewhere, Conrad reaches the second array and rushes to set the bomb. However, he soon senses a presence. Elsewhere, Emily and Alice reach a chamber filled with pods, and Emily wonders what's going on. Soon, Emily becomes suspicious, smashes one of them, and is utterly shocked to face someone who looks exactly like her.
Oh my god. It's trying to replace people.
Taking it as a replacement and hence terrified, Emily accuses the factory of trying to replace humans. However, she soon realizes that the truth is far more sinister than she thought.
It's not trying to replace people.
Conrad!
A dismembered Conrad warns Emily to run, but it's too late. Soon, Emily finds herself on an examination table, hooked to a machine, and Alice reveals that she, the survivors, and everyone else she has ever known are all advanced human-like AI machines, and that humanity has been wiped out a few years after the end of the war. While Emily tries to argue how real and human she's always felt, Alice adds that when the Autofac realized that it's all alone in the world, with no consumers and no purpose, it learned that everything is replaceable. Then it built hundreds of Emilys, Conrads, Paulines, Avis, and many others, placed them in small pilot towns, and made sure they consumed its products as they were intended to. Then, in response to Emily's remark that their group of survivors don't consume, Alice explains that they're all factory errors soon to be corrected. Alice adds that Emily's settlement is slated to soon be purged and repopulated with replacement units. Alice then accesses Emily's matrix and tries to find the source of the error that led to the aberration, while announcing that sentries are already deployed to destroy the settlement.
It's okay. They are not real.
The restrained Emily has no choice but to helplessly watch matters unfold and cry out in anguish.
Oh, God damn it! Alice, please.
Soon, the system alerts Alice of the anomaly in Emily's system, and she goes to check it. However, she's confused to find that the anomaly is actually malware and wonders how it got into Emily's archive. Soon, the tables change, and Alice gets the surprise of her robotic life.
Neither did I. Not at first.
Then Emily drops the clueless act and explains how she found out that she wasn't a human.
But I made myself see it.
She then reveals that she hid a virus in her own program. Then Emily reveals that she's known for years that she and her group of survivors were machines, but kept it to herself as she didn't want to crush the hopes of her friends, who all believed they were real. Emily surmises that the Autofac must have unknowingly put something real inside each one of them and declares that they are the only way for humanity to get a second chance. Still fascinated by the revelation, Alice wonders how Emily bypassed the neural blocks to realize the truth.
How did you ever realize what you are?
Statistical aberration.
Emily shares that after the dream, she felt like she once lived a different life and saw the world end in the war. Emily then asks the question that has always boggled her mind and demands to know who she was modeled after.
Who was she, Alice? Say it. Who was she?
She made the Autofac.
Using the same intelligence she used to build the Autofac, Emily destroys it for good through the virus. Soon the company goes completely dark, and everything inside it stops working. Emily then returns alone to her settlement and is relieved to see that she had intervened in time, and it still remained as it was. Soon she is joyfully reunited with Avi.